Don't allow yourself to be pimped by Instacart, DoorDash, Uber Eats, and the rest of those apps. Let's talk about it on this ride-along segment of the Gig Geezer. Hey, if this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, hey, thanks for stopping by. You just saw me there drop off taxes. They actually weren't my taxes because I mailed off my taxes on Friday, April 15. But today is Monday, April 18, the last day to file taxes. And those taxes was for the queen in my life. And I also filed my daughter's taxes as well over the weekend. Well, actually, I filed hers during the week last week, and I'm not mad at them because they got money coming back, and I owe, actually, in self-employment tax, $720 on what was before deductions when I count all my 1099 money, a lot of money. But I had a lot of deductions, and so I managed to have zero federal taxable income. But in self-employment tax, when you file your taxes, you have to do your Schedule C form. The Schedule C form showed a very meager profit, and that's in relation to the money that I made. Oh, and by the way, hey, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others. And I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. And if you're returning to the Gig Geezer, hey, thanks for stopping by. As I've already started rambling on with the start of this conversation here, and for this first half hustle. And I also accepted, somewhat uncharacteristically, an Instacart order, triple stack from Sam's up here in the mall area. It's showing altogether 10 items for $32.15. I figure that's pretty easy. So anyway, we'll be talking as we're heading up to Sam's. Okay, so I mentioned about the tax situation. Yeah, very meager profit, which I expected. But the question was what can I do, or how can I figure out a way to reduce my self-employment tax? Last year I stroked a check for over $1,000 in self-employment taxes. This year, I did not stroke the check, so what I am doing is I'll be paying back the IRS in installments, probably over the next 6 months once I get back that notice from them. I may start sending money to them beforehand, but man, I got clobbered with other taxes. I also got to pay property tax on my truck, which in South Carolina, you have to pay property tax before you can get your license plate sticker. And so what I would have stroked to Uncle Sam, I got to give to Richland County. So I had to decide who's more important. Well, I need to pay the property tax so I can have the license plate, so that I don't trigger a conversation with any of the local law enforcement who'd love to have a conversation with me and pass on to me, or slip into my hand that paper that doesn't tear. Today being Monday, we're at zero again. Last week I finished at $1,329.01. At least that's according to my unofficial count. I believe that if memory serves me correct, Gridwise has me at $1,331. So there's always going to be a little discrepancy between what my count is and what Gridwise's count is. The reason for $1,329 instead of maybe $1,500 is because I did not go out one day last week. The body and mind just, they were not in agreement. They were not in agreement. Well, the spirit was willing, but the mind and body, they weren't having it. You know, when you've put in 21 straight days, 3 consecutive weeks, that's going to happen. and I'm glad that I did listen to my body. Sadly for me, when I say I'm out here to make money, I'm out here to make money because I have to. It's that simple. But anyway, it's a cloudy, rainy, nasty Monday. I can't tell you what I feel the vibe is right now because I'm just starting out. But I'll get back with you once I finish the Instacart order, and we'll pick up the conversation from there. Okay, so we have just completed the Sam's order, but an odd thing occurred, and I've not had this happen in a while. That initially, as you saw in the inset, was a triple stacked order, 10 items. Well, apparently, the third customer, the C customer, where that delivery would have gone from what I could tell on the map to an apartment complex, that person canceled out, and so it became just a double stacked order. Now I have no idea what this order is going to pay now. I'm guessing that the C customer probably was the one who tipped the least, and you know how Instacart has a thing of doing a 3 for 1, 3 for 2, and so they like to stick a couple of bad paying orders with one that pays worthwhile, as with most of the other apps. And so maybe they did me a favor. So I'm guessing that this order is going to still pay over $25, which is not desirable. I mean, in the first place, the triple stack for $32 is not something I normally would take, but because it said take me 10 items, you figure you could knock all that out within an hour. That's why I took it. But anyway, we're moving on to the first drop off, which is about 3 to 5 minutes from this location, and then the second drop off is about 10 to 12 minutes from the first drop off location. Okay, so we dropped off this first of two Instacart orders, and this is a relatively brand new subdivision. These homes are put up within the last 2 years. Now we're heading back to the Sandhills area to pick up a Uber Eats from Chick-fil-A. The offer amount is for $9.23. The reason why I accepted it is because it is going in the same general direction as the second Instacart drop-off, and it actually, I suspect, makes up for the money that I may have lost in the triple stacked order. So it is likely now that the Gig Geezer will probably in fact have over $30 within the first hour. And while I'm at it, you probably noticed in the inset when I was leaving Sam's, you saw my truck, and I've talked about my truck. Well, I'm certain that a lot of folk have asked about, well, what vehicle should they use to do gig work? Well, a reliable vehicle if possible. But everybody's personal situation is different. So the main thing is just being able to be mobile and hopefully improve your situation if necessary to get another vehicle. But I shared in a previous Gig Geezer segment about me having to get 2 vehicles in 2021. Things just happened. This SUV that I'd used was a big disappointment. I had it for about a year and about 16, 17, 18 months. And after spending $2,000 on some work, the guy who was working on the vehicle told me, man, if I was you, I'd get rid of this vehicle. And just long story short, after spending $2,000 on that vehicle, and it stayed in the shop for 3 weeks, the vehicle ran worse than it did before I brought it in. And so that definitely solidified my decision. And quite honestly, in order to trade out of that SUV, I had to trade up into something that could have covered that negative equity. So, but having a truck has been beneficial for me doing gig work. When it comes to getting roadie and point pickup opportunities that require SUV or truck, I mean, man, you can't beat it. I mean, I have transported as many as 3 70-inch TVs in the bed of this truck. I could have put a fourth had I had some bungee cords. This was an ideal vehicle for doing my brief stint last year with Federal Express's personal vehicle program. SUV could accomplish the same thing, which it did in 2020/2021, early part of 2021. But the truck was more desirable. The only problem with the truck was the gas mileage, and when gas prices start taking off, then it became impractical. But by and large, doing this type of gig work, a truck in South Carolina, it earns you opportunities that you may not get if you just had a smaller fuel efficient vehicle. By the way, in fact, back in January, I didn't even share this though, but I had a couple of gig opportunities in which I transported a pallet from Columbia to Winston-Salem, and I made $165 on both opportunities. So at that time, the opportunity paid for itself in terms of gas and a little bit of money over, but it certainly made a difference in my day, in that I made like 270 plus in one day and over 260 the other day. So again, in South Carolina, you see a lot of trucks, and there's a reason for the trucks. It's not so much as, I wouldn't say so much as, it could be for lifestyle, but you could say that in the South in general. You see more trucks in the South and in rural parts of the country than you do anywhere else. And I missed having a truck. I mean, I had one for 10 years. I had an F-150 for 10 years. And so I just know what it can, I know how helpful it can be for me. Well, as with a lot of gig delivery drivers, I am one who has a strong aversion to delivering to schools, be it a college or university or a high school or elementary school. My number one reason is that they don't pay as well, although $9.23 is better than most school deliveries. Secondly, this is going to a high school that I've gone to before everywhere now. A lot of the newer schools, they're like mazes, man. They're like rat mazes, and you can't really find your way around, especially if it's your first time. I remember the last time I dropped off something to this high school, it was for Amazon Flex, and that was a forgettable experience. Now, this person's giving me some directions how to drop off to her, but given my druthers, I would have not taken this one. As you know, a lot of times with Uber Eats, they've tried to be slick by not even showing you anything other than time and distance. But all it said was the road that it was on, and I'm thinking, well, if it's on that road, it may not be that bad. But I didn't know it was going to be to the high school. Okay, so we've dropped off the Uber Eats. It was to a couple of kids. It certainly revoked memories of back when my daughter was in high school and how I was at her beck and calling during her 11th and 12th grade years. It was like almost every day I was bringing her lunch, or I was bringing something that she forgot. It was something. And of course, everyone knew, whenever they saw me, they knew who I was there for. And whenever they see her, they'd point me out like, your dad's here, your dad's here. So, of course, we're talking, 2014, 2015. There was no, now that's, when I think about that, there was no DoorDash or Grubhub or Uber Eats in the lexicon not long ago. And so now these kids don't call their parents. They just get on an app and have some stranger bring them their food. Interesting, huh? Alrighty, so now we are on our way to dropping off the Instacart order. I know I've spent all this time talking about all this stuff, but I just figured I'd talk about some other things other than just deliveries. What's interesting about Instacart for me lately is that my customer rating has improved from 4.49 to 4.78 as of this morning. Now, one of the things I've done since my last Gig Geezer segment on Instacart, in fact, I shared it then, but what seems to be working is me taking pictures of the customer's items while at the store. So that almost right from the start disproves any claims of missing items, any claims of damaged items, and for that matter, any claims of missing orders. Now, I say almost because I still have had 3 people since March 1st to make those allegations. And of course, I went to Instacart about it, and they've done nothing. In fact, my score has improved simply because of those bad ratings have dropped off. I suspect now, as it is with Instacart, as with DoorDash, they're not doing anything. If you get stuck with a contract violation, they're not doing anything in terms of removing the contract violation. And with Instacart, they certainly ain't doing nothing in terms of removing a poor rating or absolving you from an allegation of missing items, damaged items, or an entire missing order. I don't think they're doing anything. They'd rather just let you go through the exercise of having said all that stuff just to say that they're doing things on our part when they're really not. Really, I just found my material for today's hustle. And the reason why I say that is because I just finished dropping off the second of what became double stacked Instacart order from Sam's. And this double stacked order paid $26.87. If you recall, I accepted a triple stack for $32.15. Now, apparently, the third part of it dropped off. Perhaps the customer canceled out, I don't know. As I was in the parking lot of Sam's checking over the items, I didn't see customer C. So that tells me that Instacart tried to sneak in an order that paid $5.23, something like that, $5.28. That may have been the tip amount. That may have been what, that order should have just paid because the customer did not tip. Who knows? What is known is what I documented. The screenshot, triple stacked, $32.15. The screenshot, double stacked, $26.87. There's a difference of $5.28 there. Now, that tells me that Instacart tried to get over. It's easy to say that Instacart should be ashamed of itself, but we know that app companies like Instacart, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, they don't have any shame. It's all about customers, money, and we are just tools, necessary evils that help accomplish their goal. While we should be grateful for the opportunity that the gig economy has afforded us, we should not allow ourselves to be prostituted as well. Now, when you accept opportunities through triple stack Instacart orders for $10.38, that's on you. When you accept these DoorDash orders for double stack DoorDash orders for $4.50 and they for 2.0 miles, and you justify it by saying it's $2 a mile, that's on you, man. That's on you, lady. And then you turn around and complain why you're not making any money. Well, you just answered the question for yourself. You are the one who accepted those orders. In fact, when I see people who complain about these, when they feel that they've been stiffed by customers, I saw recently a young lady in Texas, East Texas. She went on the social media page complaining about accepting a 2-item, 7.3 mile DoorDash order and it paid $3.54. More than likely, if it based numbers on my market, The customer tipped $1.04. That's on her. That's not about the customer. That's on you accepting those type of orders. So I implore y'all, because this is just a good example of what I'm sharing with this Instacart, where Instacart tried to do a 3 for 2. I talk about these things, but I just saw it for myself. Now, hopefully this information has helped you. If you like the content that I've provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your hustle continue.